Welcome to another episode of Faith in Home Buying. I'm loving equipping people of faith for the home buying process. Talking about some wins. First half, we're going to talk about some wins in the market and just with my clients. And then second half, we'll talk about some stats, some weekly stats that have been down the pipeline, just to give people an understanding of what we've been doing here in the real estate market and hopefully give you some insight on what things are to come. Because truth be told, most people still think that we are going to we're going to go through I guess a bubble bursting type of situation, but it's not really looking that way. And if you've heard one of my last podcasts, kind of explaining a little bit why we're in a different season and just a different home buying experience, but wins. So I can say just this holiday time, there's been so much to be thankful for. Hopefully you had a great Thanksgiving yourself, whether you choose to celebrate it or not. But I say this, we have a lot to be thankful for. And I know I do. And I've had a couple of closings that happened last week, and it's a beautiful thing to see. It was two about to be married couples. One, they're actually married now, was able to get their home sold, and I helped them actually purchase that the first house that they were in. They weren't married, and then they got married, and now they're moving on to a whole nother home. And when I get to see things like that, it makes my heart so happy. And I say that too, just because I know the value of home ownership. I know the value of that, even in a relationship. It's just really, really important. And so I'm super excited for them that they're going to be moving on to Las Vegas, actually. And we sold their home for a really amazing price and actually exceeded their expectations. So super proud of that. Have another couple too. Geez, they're going to be getting married next year, but they went in and purchased a home together. And it's another beautiful thing. They're both young couples. And just fired up my whole month. I have a couple of them in November that kind of moved to December to close. But either way, super proud of all of these young couples that are just saying yes to home ownership. And I'm here for it. And my husband and I, we kind of did the same thing when we were getting married, and couldn't really predict the whole crash that had happened. However, we bounced back, and by the grace of God, are able to now be multiple homeowners with the investment properties and, our own home. So, even though adversity happens, I still love to celebrate the wins and the people that I see coming through. And in celebration as well, my company, Equity One Real Estate, EQ1, those that know, gosh, we've been now going on about 8 years strong. I was recruited from a different company, brokerage, over to help open up this brokerage over in San Jose, California. And man, it's just been amazing. The growth, not only in just myself and business wise, but just in the company as well. We're a boutique brokerage, and what that means is, smaller than your big box, meaning we only have about 26 or so, 26, 28 agents. And I was one of the original 6 that helped open up the brokerage. And basically a dream in believing that we can do real estate differently. And it's been an amazing ride since. And we just recently had our holiday party. And when I talk about wins, it's just amazing to see how many people that I work with that, even though we're small, we're mighty in what we do. And that just goes to show that, honestly, when the favor of God is, whether it be on your life, whether it be on your business, it doesn't matter, how many people that are a part of, the vision, it will get accomplished. And, the amount and the volume, the sales volume that we do, I think we're slotted right now to hit about 325 million for the year, which is quite a bit for a brokerage, especially a brokerage of about 26, 28 people. But I myself and about 46 families, it would be the end of the year. And I guess I'm not necessarily bragging on necessarily myself, but on God, because during a pandemic, in 2020, when things started to kind of happen and people started to kind of wake up and wanting home ownership. But man, in 2020, it actually won. No joke. 2021, 2020. Oh, anyways, the play on word, but 46 families I was able to help this year. And I'm super proud of that. As a single agent, mom, wife, and a realtor and having other things that I do and serving and such, I still manage to help 46 families. And truth be told, I'd say half of them were miracle stories, no joke. And that just shows to me, like, in the face of adversity, in the face of a pandemic, in the face of when times are rough, where it seems like it's no light, like God shines the light, the brightest in times that seems like it's even it's just tough. And that says a lot. 46 families, usually an average was 25 or so families a year, but again, this year it doubled. And I think that has everything to do with, God and expansion of territory. Reflecting back, and this is for you moms out there, reflecting back on when I started, just even in real estate and just trying to get my stuff together. I had my first child, and it was really, really difficult because, you're a mom, and, one of the things that you want to do career-wise, you kind of have to put it a little bit on hold, just so to make sure that, the first ministry that you have as being a mom and being there as a wife is fulfilled. And sometimes, career stuff kind of gets pushed a little bit to the side. And it did for a little bit. Then had the second child, and you had to kind of bounce back, again. But these last, I'd say probably 5 to 3 years, as the girls have gotten bigger, and my husband has been able to work from home, which has been awesome. It's been amazing to see what was really stagnant inside myself. And I know you moms can kind of understand that too, but some things that have been kind of stagnant. And winning what I did with my company, the most transactions, and then also I'm second in top producing at about 30 million in sales volume. It taught me that even when you think that you should be doing something else, like where the dreams and the aspirations are, God still says, if you continue to honor the things that I've placed before you, be faithful in the small things, be faithful in the little things, be content in where you're at, and understanding that there's so much more. But for right now, I'm going to give my 110%. I'm going to give everything that I have on doing what it is right now that you've, Lord, put my hands to do. And, even in that, tithing and just being just a responsible and a selfless giver, still being able to see God move in my business. And so hopefully for someone else, and hopefully it's an encouragement for someone else out there, that, even if you right now have a little bit of a career hold and, things are happening and you figure you need to be over there, but you're here, understand that everything that you work through and everything that you go through is designed for a purpose. And in the end, God is still going to be supreme, especially if you continue to put him first in your business, put him first in your family, first in your life and your decisions that you make. I'm telling you, it's just amazing to see what God would do with that, especially when the glory goes to him. And that's really what it's about, right? There's no way that I could have been able to do this if it wasn't for the grace of God in order to be able to do that and still be here for my family, which is really interesting. This year has been one of the years that I've still been able to be with the girls and still be able to be with husband, even amidst, COVID things, but that's been amazing itself. So all that to say is it's been a fantastic year. It's not done yet. And I have a couple more families to still get into homes and get keys too. But hey, if you are one of those people still on the fence, remember, we're still rocking and rolling with interest rates being really low, still rocking and rolling with even conforming conventional rates being high. It's still a good time to buy, or to at least put your hat out there to see what you can do. Okay. And so, you know, I'd be willing to speak to you and even just talk to you about what we can do in order to make it work. A lot of things people say, I don't do this that often, but let me give you what my contact information is. And so Instagram, Tamika Ellsworth on IG. You can also find me on TikTok, real estate _T. And then also you can call me too. Believe it or not, I do pick up, but if I don't worry, I'll get back to you. It's 408-561-7922. That's 408-561-7922. All right, so in our next segment, I'm going to be talking about weekly stats. It's going to be rounding out what the month of November had looked like, because now we're into December. I'll have another probably update a little bit later on in December though, but just to give you an idea of what's been going on with the market and to understand that, hey, there's a lot of things that have been happening. Unemployment claims were dipping below. Yes, it's a holiday season, but believe it or not, price points and prices, things closing, there's been a lot happening, and we're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about my new, new certification that I'm going for. And so those of you that are interested in crypto and Bitcoin and such, I'm working to get crypto certified. Yep, to be a crypto certified agent. We'll talk about that in a little bit and what that entails and what that means, and hopefully bringing more knowledge and insight to you, the viewers. So stand by. This is Tamika Ellsworth with Faith in Home Buying, equipping people of faith for the home buying process. Let's talk about some weekly stats. I think a lot of people know, but then they don't know what's kind of going on in the housing market. Of course, you hear a lot of things from the news, and that's, sometimes they're a little bit behind. I say about 6 months or so behind. But I'm going to pull some information really straight from the California Association of Realtors. And in this, it talks about just home sales and prices looking promising. 2021 is just almost done, but 2022, we're still ramping up. Still a lot of business to be had in 2022. But what the California Association of Realtors, what they have actually said, and you can actually get this information on too if you go to car.org. And kind of peruse around there. They have a lot of great information as well. But November home sales looking promising, which was fine, which it did, but it also spills over into December. And right now it's looking like the market is actually normalizing back down from, I think we are like 510,000 unit pace that we begin in 2021. So all indications from just weekly analytics and things that have been going on of closed sales, it suggests that the market is holding up relatively well. So through the weekend, existing single family home sales are tracking roughly about 14% below last year, for instance, November 2020 levels, which is interesting. But last year, California reached more than 508,000 units on an annualized basis. So therefore, sales are likely to remain in excess of the 400,000 benchmark this month, putting the annual figure right in line with our current projection, which they've been projecting is about 430,000, 440,000 units for the year, which is good. Granted, we're still below what we did last year, but still, we're still making strides forward. And one of the things that I wanted to point out too is that the unemployment claims, they actually still dip below pre-crisis levels. So we're talking about 2019 or so. So after exceeding more than 100,000 new unemployment claims per week consecutively for nearly a full year, initial unemployment insurance claims in California have now dipped below where they were for the week of March 14th, 2020. So last week, just over 52,000 unemployment claims were filed, which was down more than 7,000 from the previous week. After an initial surge of more than 1 million claims at the end of March. That was crazy. Claims peaked at nearly 300,000 in a single week during July 2020 before gradually beginning to come down. So this continues a healthy downtrend that began in earnest this February. So that's actually a really good thing. What does that mean? That means that people are going back to work. What does that also mean? That also means that for instance, I have clients that were on furlough and they're actually still on furlough just based off of the fact that they can't go back into the office. But how beautiful it is. I'm even having those people now, getting back to work. They're actually showing that they are working. And so they're able to proceed forward with the purchase of a property and the purchase of a home. The interesting thing is that our Bay Area housing market, since we are the Bay Area housing market, it's outperforming the rest of the state. So that's the San Francisco Bay Area. San Francisco Bay Area continues to punch above its weight, helping to bolster not just the statewide growth figures, but an impressive level of home sales as well. Based upon our monthly market data for October, the Bay Area posted the smallest decline from 2020 levels, but it was also the region whose current sales were farthest ahead of pre-crisis levels. Using February 2020 as the index month, Bay Area home sales were 51% higher in October, compared with 8% above in the far north. 22% in Southern California and the Central Valley, and 26% on the Central Coast. As a testament to its current strength, the Bay Area is the only region in the state that could boast more home sales in October 2021 than they had during the summer of 2019, before the crisis ever began. So that's just showing that, we're picking back up. And so again, when people talk about, things are going to continue to go down, I'm just going to wait. The numbers don't lie. And, granted, us as realtors, we feel things and we know things because we're in it. But obviously you look at the market and you look at the stats, you look at, where the market is going. And, based off of even what I had mentioned before in the previous, and even now, we're getting numbers in the 2019 numbers. So we're back in there and still continuing in a pandemic. So just imagine when things continue to get lifted. I mean, we're still obviously having things that are capped right now, but imagine when things continue to get lifted, how it's going to happen. So I honestly feel that there's like a little bit of a kind of a pressure on keeping things down. But man, oh man, when the floodgates open, when things open up, just imagine what's about to happen. The good thing also too, mortgage applications, they've been holding steady above pre-crisis levels. So the decline in new mortgage applications that begin in May continues to decelerate, and there are reasons for optimism under the hood of the yearly growth figures. So first, compared to last year, mortgage applications last week were only down 4% versus the double-digit declines that persisted between June and October. So in addition, mortgage applications have either stable or increasing in a weekly basis in 4 of the past 7 weeks. Furthermore, the level of mortgage applications rather than the growth rates compared with 2020 remains relatively robust. So not only are applications beginning to converge with the 2020 elevated levels, but the current index also remains roughly 15% ahead of 2018 and 2019 levels. This means that buyer demand remains alive and well despite higher rates, even if not at the record levels we saw last summer. So, even though our rates, they're not necessarily going down per se, they're still low, they're still slowly having an uptick, but it still does not deter people as they're going in and doing mortgage applications. And I see a lot of that too. I have a lot of, lenders and kind of doing a lot of connections with different lenders to get people pre-qualified, and those saying, 2022 is coming along, but I'm going to start to do that now in order to see where I stand. So I would encourage you to do that as well. One of the last things to point out from CAR is the market competition ebbs slightly as normalization continues. So although buyer demand is solid, the decline from 15-year highs has been giving buyers a few more opportunities than they have had in a while, particularly while rates remain relatively low by pre-crisis standards. According to our weekly sales analysis, the percentage of closed transactions that sold for more than the listing price has been below 60% for the past 5 weeks in a row. So what does that mean? That means that, obviously you have your list price, and really honestly, that's because I think you still have a lot of sellers thinking that they're going to get these high prices because they saw it early on in the year, but that hasn't been happening. Sometimes those homes have been selling 50 days on the market, 30 days on the market. Why? Because, again, buyers are kind of back it off just a little bit, but it's changing. This has become a consistent trend since January or July, when more than 70% of homes were selling above asking price. However, those figures are beginning to stabilize around current levels, and there hasn't been a noticeable drop off in over a month after cooling slightly this fall. Taken together with sales that remain relatively robust and a renewed uptick in mortgage application, it supports the notion of a fairly stable market for home sales in the coming months. So again, do we see like this huge, spike of things? No, but it's a slow increase on people getting into homes, having mortgage applications, and actually people saying, hey, this is going to be my year, setting themselves up for 2022 for home ownership. And, hopefully, and I'll give that a plug again, if you want to speak to me about what you can do to set yourself up, even if you're not ready, and that's okay too, I can be reached. You can reach me at a phone number, 408-561-7922. You can also hit me up on Instagram. You can DM me. That's just Tamika Ellsworth. Also on TikTok, real estate _T. And I'll give the phone number again because some listeners are like, hey, we finally are hearing it, but we need to hear your number again. So the number again is 408-561-7922. And if I don't pick up, don't worry about it. I will get back to you because your calls are important to me. So that being said, I hope that gives a little bit of an understanding of where we're at in the market, and why it is that I'm going to still probably be busy up until the 2022 time, and that's okay as well. One of the things I want to talk about, which has been a really hot topic too, and I said, you know what, just like the VA portion where I got VA certified, so I'm a military relocation professional. I mean, I had certain specific certifications for vets, and also for buyers, and that's one of my things that I excel in. So knowing that cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, blockchain, all of that stuff, it's just been a huge thing, even the metaverse, right? And me seeing this and thinking, wait a minute, real estate right now literally is being bought on the metaverse. And, I want to get ahead of that, right? So I may have listeners, it may be some of you that are actually interested in real estate in the metaverse. They call it, the Web3, where you can, where you're in, I mean, I guess it's like, it's even better. What most people say, they say it's even better than real life because you get to be whoever you want to, having jobs, and, you can go to work. You don't have to roll out of bed, all of that stuff. But you can actually purchase real estate. There's people actively purchasing real estate right now. And even those companies that are actually leasing real estate. Like a literal lease agreement. So like, even if you miss a payment, like you can get fined in this world if you don't pay your rent. So that being said, being a crypto certified agent, I think, is where I'm gonna excel. And I'm hoping that if any of you are interested in that market, because especially the crypto market, I'd like to help you. I'm going through my certification. It'll be completed. I don't know. It'll be completed this month, before 2022. And if you are interested, I'd really love to speak with you. I'd really love to work with you and see how we can make some rounds in real estate in this new or newer phase of a market. So, hopefully I can bring some more information as well on what it is, how you can go about doing it, and have some valuable insight and valuable lessons. So I'm pretty excited about that. So, do hopefully, continue to stay tuned. But in 2022, that's one of the directions I do want to go in order to talk about a lot more, because I know it's about to be a big thing. And so hopefully you're on for the ride. But until then, I really do appreciate those that do give me a call, and hopefully I get back to you as well as soon as I can. But I really do appreciate everything that those that have called in, just with their support, with the love, and even helping family members. I hope in 2022 to help even more families. But again, thank you so much, Faith in Home Buying, Tamika Ellsworth, equipping people of faith for the home buying process.